What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us. This is the podcast, What Am I Even Doing? I am Jaya Nicole, and I have my guest with me, DeMichael Cole.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Thank you for joining us today. It's been a long time coming.
I know, right? Long time coming.
We've been
Long time.
planning it. We've been planning it, and we finally got together. So thank you again. So, DeMichael, you are a NBA Grizzlies reporter for the Commercial Appeal.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Oh, appreciate you.
That's amazing.
Appreciate
That's
you.
a big deal.
I'm trying to make it.
You're trying.
I'm
You,
trying.
I feel like you are making it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Yeah.
So, would you say this is like a dream job of yours?
For sure. You know, because I think when you talk about dream jobs, you think about the things that you aspire to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like even when you're younger, and this was something I always wanted to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to play sports, and I wanted to be in the sports field in terms of reporting, writing, broadcasting, all that stuff, and doing it. That's all I ever wanted to do, and doing it in Memphis is just like bonus, because that's where I'm from.
Okay. So, when you always wanted to do this, was like the
Right.
Memphis Grizzlies the ultimate goal for you, or it just so happened to
It
be
just
that?
it just so happened. You want the longer story? You want the shorter story?
Oh,
Like,
well, we can go. We can jump right into
yeah,
it. Like,
okay.
show us like how your path officially like began,
Ooh,
and you can start whenever you want.
yeah. So college,
Mm-hmm.
college was, I went to college and I had a good idea of what I wanted to do, what I aspired to do, all those things, and I majored in sports journalism and electronic media at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. And this is always what I wanted to do. So I had that idea when I went to college. And, what you learn in college is so much of it is about connections.
Mm-hmm.
Like you really can be a straight A student, but you have to be able to connect with people and put yourself in rooms where you can get, whether it's an internship,
Right.
connected to editors, whatever the case may be. So my sophomore year, I'll never forget this because I still remind a couple of the editors of this. After my sophomore year and going into my junior year, that's when people start getting internships.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted something, but I didn't know like what was out there for a junior. I didn't have anything. So one of the things I did was I emailed every uh, news outlet across the
Mm-hmm.
state of Tennessee and North Mississippi, DeSoto
Oh,
County
wow.
News, Commercial Appeal. I emailed the Clarksville paper,
Mm-hmm.
the Tennessean in Nashville, Chattanooga Times Free Press in Chattanooga, of course Knoxville News Center, Maryville Daily Times in Maryville, Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
like across the whole state. Emailed all of them. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
responded except DeSoto Times, but they were like, we don't have any spots.
Yeah, at least they
So
said something.
they said something,
Yeah.
yeah, but nobody else was. I was like,
Right.
hey, I'm a college kid looking for some opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, through Employ in Memphis,
Uh-huh.
Employ, I was able to get an opportunity, and Employ had this, their program where they basically would put kids in different places, different types of jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and I so happened to get an internship at the Tri-State Defender
Oh.
going into my junior year. So going into that year, I was able to get an internship at Tri-State Defender, and that was big for me because that put me in the door, right, and whatnot. And then I was doing my own thing. We all come up, we got to do our own thing
Yeah,
to kind of
exactly.
like get some footing. So I had my own radio show.
That's what's up.
In my senior year, I think going into my senior year, I had 4 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it was working for the student newspaper, my radio show,
Mm-hmm.
and I was basically doing work for some of the local papers in the area, freelance work.
Yeah.
So I would do like high school games, things like that, and all of that led me to eventually getting the opportunity through Sports Journalism Institute, which to me is the top sports journalism internship in the country for kids with minority backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the biggest opportunity that I could hope for because what they do is they selected my year 14 kids across the states. 14 kids get selected and they place you in newsrooms across the country for the summer. So for me, it was Sports Illustrated.
Okay.
Yeah, Sports Illustrated, ESPN, in Memphis, Commercial Appeal, which is crazy because they didn't place me in Memphis.
Yeah.
You had the Tennessean in Nashville, Knox News Center. They placed it at all these different places. And I got placed in New York City, spent my summer in New York City.
That's awesome.
And again, to go into the thing about just connections,
Mm-hmm.
I got that opportunity. And my first job was the Philadelphia Inquirer in Philadelphia. And I got that job essentially because someone in Philadelphia was They were looking for a young sports reporter who could fill a fellowship, 1 year fellowship. And they reached out to one of the people who was associated with Sports Journalism Institute because they know a lot of young reporters, right? And they basically was like, "Hey, do you got someone who could fill this role?" And they were like, "Yeah, we know someone." And they reached out to me, and just off of that word, those people flew me to Philadelphia. Like, and I did the whole interview with like 9 different people, like the whole day, just interviews. Got that job, turned a 1 year fellowship into a full job in Philadelphia, and then I got the job at the Commercial Appeal. So it all circled back to, that's why I said, did you want the long story?
No,
because basically, the way these opportunities all come up is it's connection based industry. And I'll never forget, because you asked me, was it my dream job? I remember when the Grizzlies job opened for the Commercial Appeal, I didn't apply. I did not apply because, like, I saw it and I was like, I'm in a good situation in Philadelphia. Like, they love me up here. I was in the process of getting my own show. Like, they were invested in me. So it was like, I love it here. I got my own place. I done made some friends up here. Like, I'm cool. But they ended up hitting me up. And it was like crazy. It was a Twitter DM started all of it. It was a Twitter DM, like, and it was such a hard decision for me. It's literally the hardest decision I've ever made in my life at the time. And I feel like I made the right decision, but I just kept going back and forth, and I was just trying to figure out positives and negatives both ways. And I decided to come back to Memphis. It's the crib. I feel like I can make a bigger impact here, right? I'm with my people that, I grew up with, can see me as, in a closer point of view and things like that. So that all led me back to Memphis. Like, it really wasn't planned to come back to Memphis. It kind of just happened.
Oh, that's interesting. So where did you feel like it transitioned to something that you wanted to, oh, this is real? Would you say it happened in Philadelphia or when you came back to Memphis?
Oh, this is real. It happened in Philly for sure. Because Philly was it was tough, but they just threw me out there, and it was like I had to learn. And I had a lot of people in Philly who were very supportive, and whether it was either working or just like living wise. I'm 22 years old, living on my own. I don't have any family out here.
Right.
I'm learning, like, I'm Googling how to cook stuff because, like, I'm by myself. It's like, if I don't do it, like, I'm going to be eating out every day, all that. But I had a good support system of people in Philly that would just check on me and make sure I was okay. But the realness really came from the fans. Like, they don't care. And, like, they were hard. Like, Philly fans are known to be, like, kind of, a little rough around the edges, but real open and honest. So, like, when you mess up, they don't care that, oh, that's the young kid. Like, they don't let you know, like, you don't know what you're talking about. Things like, so it's like, man, I was, at first it was like, I'm just happy people read my stuff, like, just to see emails and comments. I was just happy at first, but then after so much time, when people be critical, you gotta lock in.
Yeah, so really gotta lock in.
That's when I was like, it's real.
But like, especially like with journalism in general, like, no matter what you're doing, how do you, like, put that boundary, like, okay, I know I'm not tripping, I know what I'm talking about, but people just gonna have opinions anyway. So how do you navigate through that?
Now that didn't happen until I got to Memphis.
Okay.
Because in Philly, it was small criticism, but it wasn't really. It was like whatever. But in Memphis, I'm like a so-called major voice now on when it comes to the Grizzlies. When people read or listen to the Grizzlies, a lot of times I'm one of the main voices that they pay attention to. So in that case, anytime I say something now, like, I have to be smarter about that. I can't just go out anywhere and say anything about the Grizzlies because somebody will tell somebody and it can turn into a big thing. Like, for example, February, when the whole thing about Ja Morant possibly being traded came out, like, you had people going to my podcast and I was just making small talk just about the situation. And you had people, like, they would pull, the little clips off the podcast, they would post them on social media and they go viral. Yeah. They'd be like, oh, the Grizzlies reporter or DeMarco Cole said this. And it's like, it really, stuff like that has showed me, like, I have to be smart and calculated about what I say because people will really, run with it.
So how does it make you feel, like, having that type of voice? And I don't want to say power, but it kind of is in the sense of, like, you have a power to You can say anything and people are gonna believe you
Man,
because you're a quote unquote critical source.
yeah, and that's some people will believe, and then like you have critics who are naturally like. I feel like I have both sides. I have people who are very supportive, people who've really paid attention to my work and understand like how I cover the team. Then you have people who are just critical to be critical, trolls, really, for
Mm-hmm.
real. And you'll have people say, "Oh, he's a Jaren Jackson Jr. lover," and it's
Mm.
like, what have I said about Jaren Jackson Jr. different than I said about all the other players?
Yeah.
Then you have people say, "Oh, he's a John Morant lover," and it's like,
Yeah.
and then you have somebody be like, "Oh, he's a John hater." Then you have somebody be like, "Oh, he's a Jaren hater."
Yeah.
And it's like people just, people just talk. They consume things how they want to or whatever. And I've learned how to kind of handle that. But it doesn't really make me feel any type of way. Like
Mm-hmm.
I guess part of it is like it's a respect thing. Like I feel like I've done enough work where people, because at the end of the day, you just want people trust.
Mm-hmm.
I've always
That's
wanted to,
good.
like, my thing was when I got here, I was like, it's got to get to the point when people see Grizzlies news, they got to be like, oh, let me see if DeMichael said something. Like they got to go look to my X account or go to my wherever I post my content,
Mm-hmm.
and they got to say, let's see if DeMichael said something.
Yeah.
And people tell me that now. They're like, oh, if I don't believe this person got traded or anything until I see
Mm-hmm.
DeMichael say, and it's like I don't have to tell people that that's what is important to me for them to understand that, like, because they'll just say that and they don't even know, like, that's like the magic coin to me. Like it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's what I be wanting to hear.
Yeah.
So it's like I look at it as like a gratifying thing with work.
That's
Like it make
good.
me feel like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a pat myself on the back and like, oh,
You
I
doing what
got
you're
these.
supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing for sure.
Yeah, that's what journalism is really all about because
Yeah.
you hear it all the time, like, oh, you get fake news, and it doesn't matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You can do local news, you can do
Man,
sports, you can do
that's
you
what it
can
is
cover
now.
toys. It's just like for real, people do not believe journalists like how they should, and I don't know. It could be generally speaking, it could be a journalist thing, or it could just
Yeah.
be like it's so many media outlets now. You really don't know.
I mean, and the president made like fake news like
Yeah,
a big thing too. So,
that is true.
hmm
That's true. Like even looking at, he has his own account to where like
yeah,
he posts his own things. That's
hmm
a whole nother
yeah,
conversation
for
for
sure,
another
for
day,
sure,
though.
for
But
sure.
like that's what's up. Journalism is a really big thing. One of the things I do hear about journalism
Yeah.
is it's hard getting in sports. I have friends
Ooh,
that's
wait.
still trying to get
I
into
know.
sports, and
I know.
seeing them work towards it, it really like it makes me want to keep going about what I'm doing. Cause it's
Yeah.
like if you chasing your dreams, and I know I can still do it because
hmm
it's hard. So tell me about that. Like,
Man.
just
Well,
was it always hard, or do you feel like?
at the end of the day, in sports, it's only so many
Mm-hmm.
jobs that people want.
Yeah.
So you just break it down like this. You have the four major sports in America, right? Football, basketball, baseball, hockey. Those are the four quote unquote major sports. The WNBA has grown, so that's like a fifth avenue to like cover sports at a high level, like get paid
Mm-hmm.
a good living wage to cover the WNBA or whatever.
Yeah.
So you got WNBA, NBA, and then you got college sports. So it's like most of these teams, especially now, like newsrooms are downsized. So you got one person covering. It's not like like Philadelphia Inquirer. That's a
Mm-hmm.
big city. So I remember when I was out there, they have like four people covering the Philadelphia Eagles.
Seriously.
Four people.
Yeah.
But here,
And that's a sports company.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, that in the sports department.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, but here, like, we got one person covering Memphis Tigers football,
Mm-hmm.
one person covering Memphis Tigers basketball. We got me covering the Grizzlies, then we got one person covering high schools.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how we have it separated here. But it's real hard. I mean, the thing I always tell people, and this is the hard part for a lot of us, is you gotta be okay with getting your hands dirty
Mm-hmm.
at the start. Like, I mean, I was blessed to be put in like I said, a fortunate situation where I got that internship and I was able to start off at a place like the Philadelphia Inquirer, but I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
My mind I was mentally prepared to like go to like the Delta in Mississippi
Yeah.
and make like
$7.
30,000, like,
Yeah.
and just be like, I gotta do what I gotta
Gotta
do.
get my foot in the door.
Like this, I was mentally prepared for that. Like if
Mhm.
I gotta do what I gotta do. So that's how it's crazy, it's rough, but it's
Mhm.
like that's how it start. If you look at a lot of the biggest reporters, they started off as local people on very small beats, and they worked their way up. And that's kind
Mhm.
of like everybody's story for the most part. Nobody really just jumps to the top. But I
No.
think we all like, when I talk to college kids now, they, oh, I want to cover the NBA. Oh, I want to cover NFL. And it's like, okay, you want to cover the NFL? You have to start off covering high school sports where you got
Yeah.
to write your own stats.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm covering the NBA, I just go to one website, boom, they got all the
Yeah.
numbers there for me, so I don't have to
Mhm.
do that. But when I was in college and I was, going when I was freelancing at these different places, I would be at the basketball games and I was like, okay, that's 2 points, that's
Mhm.
four. Okay, he missed that shot. I
Really
have to
paying
write all this
attention.
down.
Yeah.
In football, it was terrible because you got to write down every single play, how many yards they got, how many passes he thrown. Like, so it's a real grind.
Mhm.
So people have to understand, like, it's not going. You're not just going to jump into whatever you want. But yeah, it's. I think a big part of it too is the connections.
Mhm.
Like I always say, like, it's better to be the student who is like a B student that's connected than
Mhm.
the A+ student that's not connected,
Yeah.
because it's messed up, but it's
Mhm.
it's real, and that's really in anything, like even like engineering or something like that. Like
Anywhere. Yeah.
the B student who knows, the guy who's over the construction plant, like,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, he's gonna get in the door. Like, so it's just like it's tough. You got to find your way in. That's why, like, for me, I know how hard it was for me to get in.
Mhm.
So I always try to make myself an outlet. Like, I get emails from college kids, and it's like I'm trying. If
That's sweet.
if I can, I'm gonna try to respond every single
Mhm.
time, help out how I can, because, like I said at the beginning, I was that college kid who emailed everybody across the
Yeah.
state. Or like I just told you how I got accepted into SGI. I did SJI, Sports Journalism Institute. I didn't tell you how my junior year I applied. I got denied.
Mhm.
So I had to come back my senior year and come back harder in order to get that opportunity. So it's I got denied. Like, we get denied.
Mhm.
We just got to be like it. You just got to stay persistent, and all it takes is one time. Like, I knew when I got the opportunity in Philly, it was a 1 year fellowship.
Mhm.
Like, it really was supposed to be just me go up there for a year. All
Mhm.
right, thank you,
And
move
figure out
on.
what's next.
But like, I was like, no, I'm gonna take advantage of this. I'm gonna grind, and
Mhm.
I turned it into a full, like a full job. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with like moments where you feel like you didn't belong?
Man, I've had so many of those.
Oh, for
Like,
real?
yes, because that's kind of like part of my story for real. Like,
Mhm.
I went to Knoxville,
Okay.
but that was the first like that was the first time really in my life where I looked around, and it's like it's really not a lot of people that look like me for real.
And I went to University of Memphis,
Right.
and it's a PWI, but it's not your typical
Yeah, yeah.
PWI
I
because
walked on
it's
y'all
like
campus.
it's Memphis. Like you still
Yeah.
get that Memphis culture feel, so you don't really feel like out of place.
Mm-hmm.
So I do really want to know, like, to kind of like dive into like how it actually feels.
Man, it can really consume you. Like, culture, like I know what culture shock is.
Mhm.
I know what it's like to walk in a room and feel like everything that you do is being watched. I know what it's like to walk down the street to Walmart and hear doors locking on cars.
Oh my god!
And I'm just walking. Like, we used to laugh at it because it's like, bro, they really like
Yeah.
we just walking down the street going into the Walmart like everybody else. But but yeah, like, so when I got to UT, like, it was a real big lesson for me because, for one, I'm around like a bunch of people that don't look like. I think UT at the time, I don't want to. It's probably was like 8% black,
Mhm.
but in a lot of other ethnicities went there too. But like, of course, it was mostly white, PWI. So whew, like those first couple years, like, you conform a lot, just not even knowing it.
Mhm.
Like, it's a lot of just, I go back and listen to videos of just me talking. It's just because being in those rooms and you hear how people talk, it just like
You don't want to seem out of place. So
it just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it really wasn't until like my junior year, like, because I still was me, but it was like I would be it wasn't until my junior year where I really started to kind of embrace more of who I was in terms of, like, what's wrong with being different?
Mhm.
Like, I'm DeMichael Cole from Memphis, Tennessee, Parkway Village, first gen grad. Like, embrace all that.
Yeah.
So as I started to embrace it, you stand out more.
Mhm.
And standing out don't necessarily be like a sore thumb type of thing. You can stand out in good ways, right? So that's kind of how I looked at it. And that's when I started to get more of my own voice
Mm-hmm.
and started to be more myself. That was like a real big, like, I'm glad I went to that school because it really took me, like, my junior years where I started. It really wasn't until my senior year, and some good things had to happen for me. It was
Yeah.
like, because I had I was doing everything on campus that I was doing in terms of the internships and stuff like that. So that gave me more confidence
Mm-hmm.
at the same time to be myself. But that was a big stepping stone for me because when I went to Philly, that was another area of stepping outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the thing about being in Knoxville was like I still had Southern roots. Like you
Mm-hmm.
still had churches everywhere.
Yeah.
You still people still eat the same stuff. It's still
Mm-hmm.
Sunday dinner. Like you go to Philly, like it's Jamaican spots everywhere. You think, oh, Super Bowl Sunday, oh, we finna have some rotel and this type of chicken, that type of chicken. It's like, nah, they got jerk chicken for you, and
Yeah.
like so it's basically as many Muslims. I had to realize why is everybody named here Nazir, Raheem, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a completely different element. So it's like when I got to Philly, at that point, I'd already learned enough in Knoxville about just embracing being myself. So when I went into those interviews that I was telling you about,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna ask you, why should we hire you? What's unique about you? All those different type of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in those interviews and I basically, said like, I'm me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be, I'm going to embrace being the young black guy on staff. I'm going to, get those stories that you would expect a young black guy to get. I'm not afraid to go to North Philly and write about, the boxers who are trying to make it out the hood and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. So you embrace that part of you because that part of me is what made me stand out, and I
Mm-hmm.
learned it. Like all this traces back to Knoxville. That's why I'm really happy I went there. As uncomfortable as
Mm-hmm.
a 4 years it was, it really worked out. And one of the best moments for me, I was covering high school football for the local outlets,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember I used to go to all these high school football games way outside of Knoxville on the outskirts, real uncomfortable, like
Mm-hmm.
three black guys on the team type stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
so
wow.
so I'm there interviewing the coaches. It's just uncomfortable. Like nobody looked like me here.
Yeah.
So I remember it was this one weekend I had to go to Austin East. Austin East is the blackest school in Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go to Austin East. So I was telling everybody, yeah, I'm coming to the game at Austin East this week. So they're like, hey man, be careful. They just keep telling me like, yeah, you be careful over there.
Yeah.
Why go to Austin East? This was the most comfortable I ever felt.
Oh my
I
god.
walk in there, they serving us, in the press box. We got chicken.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, other places. I'm like, we got fried chicken in here. The band's playing the music I know. I'm like, I'm in the press box vibing. I'm like, this is the best time I've had at the game. But that really showed me like, that's why I gotta embrace where I come from, because these people are telling me, oh, be careful. Like, yeah, things probably happen over there, but they are super uncomfortable going to those areas. The whole time I went over there, that was the most comfortable I felt in any game I went to. So it's like you just gotta embrace, where you come from, because I mean it's just part of who I am.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So do you feel like when you went to like the more predominantly areas that were white, do you still feel like you were uncomfortable, or you still know how to adapt?
I mean, at first I probably didn't know how to, because I used to just go in, just try to do my work and hurry up and leave. Like, but you start like after so much time, yeah. But like it was always uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I probably go back there today and it still wouldn't be comfortable for me, because it's so different.
It is.
They talk different. Like it's like the movies. They talk like in the movies. They chew the tobacco and all that.
Oh,
like,
for real?
yeah, it's that's how you see it in the movie. It's like completely different.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, they always say this, but like, the further east you go in Tennessee, the more different it is from Memphis.
It
and
is.
Knoxville is all the way east. 400 miles. Like,
Yeah. The only experience I have with Knox is homecoming, but that's a whole nother different.
Yeah. You probably was with our people.
Yeah,
so you was good.
Yeah.
That's like a little small piece.
So what are you still figuring out?
Oh, I'm figuring out a lot. I'm figuring out what I wanna be, what I wanna do long term. That's a big thing for me. Like I try to stay in the moment as much as I can, because you want to enjoy the moment. But I'm really still figuring that out. I'm still trying to completely find my voice and just like how I want to do this. I got my own, like I got the podcast, I co-host on radio, but it's like I do a bunch of these different things, and I feel like I got a voice, but it's like I'm still trying to figure out how I want that to be defined. Like
Oh, that's good.
when people say, "Oh yeah, that's the Michael Cole. He's the guy who not just covered the Grizzlies, but like what's his style?" And like I hear certain people saying certain things, and it's like, okay, that makes sense to me. Like, oh yeah, he's the one. He focuses on culture and sneaker and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, that is part of kind of how I want the picture to be remembered. But I go back. I think about like all the best like writers and stuff, or the best like reporters. Like they all got distinctive styles, right? When you
Yeah.
remember them, it's like, oh yeah, Ralph Wiley, he was really good, like with black literature, or this guy or this woman, like she was really good with the anecdotal stories when she told her stories and things like that. It's like I'm still trying to figure like that part of it out, but it's really everything is big picture for me. Like I just want to figure out kind of where I want to be long term. Like, do I want to just plant my feet here and just like be in Memphis and kind of just like just have as big of an impact as I can in the place where I grew up? Do I want to spread my wings and go somewhere else? And I'm always gonna have my Memphis roots, but like spread my wings somewhere else. Like I'm all of that is what I'm figuring out. Yeah, it's a lot.
I guess the good part about as I'm like hearing you speak about it, because the whole like meaning for this podcast is like figuring it out, like
right,
yeah. And looking like outside looking in, it feels like you got it all together. Even if like, but even for you to say like I'm still figuring some things out, it's kind of like relieving for me and for other people who's watching. It's just like it's okay to still don't to not know like what you want to do as long as you're trying and still figuring it out.
You're striving.
So,
like I really I don't know what I'll be doing in 10 years. Like, I have no clue because it's like it's so many sectors with media, right? And it's so many different ways things can go. And I didn't know I was gonna be writing. Like when I stepped on campus, broadcast was the thing I wanted to do the most, but my career took me towards writing. I went to the student broadcast tryout, whatever you want to interview, and they didn't select me. Like I didn't get chose for that. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna go to the student newspaper. I went to the student newspaper, and that's where I got all my opportunities. So when I started to pitch stuff to people, I had writing samples. I didn't have a lot of TV examples because they didn't take me. They didn't accept me. So a lot of it was just kind of like where my career's taking me, but still like I still hear people tell me like, oh, the talking part is probably the part that you're best at. Like when people hear me talk about sports and things like that, even though I like writing, but it's like, so I'm still, like it's a lot that I'm still figuring. I don't. It's not like, oh yeah, I know I'm gonna be doing this in 10 years or anything like that. I have no clue. But like part of that is like exciting to me too. I think we a lot of times we look at it as like from the anxious part, like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing. It's like to me, it's like a challenge in a way. It's like I wonder what I'm gonna be doing in 10 years.
For real?
Yeah. Like that's how I try to look at
totally
it.
Opposite.
That's what I'm saying. I get that. I understand though, because like look, you don't know what you're gonna be doing. No. It's like you walking in the dark, right? But like
I think about what I'm about to do tomorrow. Like
I try to like tell myself,
goes.
Like I try to keep myself at ease because like in this business, the day to day is enough. Like it's stressful, and like that's the hardest part for me. Like balancing everything is the hardest thing, and I think I'll never have that completely figured out. But like I can only just get better at it, and I'm way better than I once was. But like it's a forever process. So it's like what I'm gonna be doing, I really don't know. But it's like
you look at it on the bright side.
Yeah, I just got faith. It's like it'll work out for me as long as I just try to stay in the moment. I'm just do what I gotta do, and something will pop up that's real good. Like that's how I'd like to think. Like,
so what do you have to say for people doing? They're not doing what they want to do. But they're looking for, like you said, having faith that it's all gonna work out. Like, what does that message look like to them?
Yeah. So the simple thing is, I remember someone told me, if you turn your passion into your profession, you'll never work a day of your life. And I would say I was the same kid. I was in college. I used to go to the studio once a week to record my podcast. I made a Medium account and I used to write on there. And I remember like, oh, okay, 20 people read this, or I get 3 concurrent views. 3 people listening to radio at one time. Like, okay, 3 people listening. Like, okay, cool. Like, it's a grind. So it's like the main thing is you got to be consistent even when the numbers, aren't there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, people still refer to me like I did my college podcast. I used to call it Ice Cold Sports.
Mm-hmm.
So some people who like have been following me since then, they still like, yeah, Ice Cold Sports, because like I used to push that all the time, post it every day. I know people, everybody that watch my story probably skipping past it, but it's like you gotta, we call it a core audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta please your core audience. You gotta go into it thinking, yes, I want 1,000 people watching it or 2,000 people watching it. But if I got 5 people watching it right now, I'm gonna make sure I
Yeah.
please those 5 people, because those 5 people are gonna be your audience, and what they gonna do is like, hey man, you need to go listen to this. This is what I
Yeah.
listen to, and then that person gonna listen. You gonna loop another person in, and it just grows. Like my Locked On Grizzlies podcast right now, which is we get probably over 50,000 views a month at
For
this
real?
point,
That's good.
but like subscriber wise, we're over 6,000 subscribers. And when I
Mm-hmm.
started in 2022, we're at 300.
Mm.
But it's just like it's daily
And
content,
you was
so it's like,
consistent with it.
yeah, I gotta be, because it's daily
Mm-hmm.
content. They'll
Mm-hmm.
fire me if I'm like not putting it out daily. So like the thing is, people now tell me, and this is the best compliment, because this is part of that growth that you get. It's like people tell me like, oh man, your show is part of my routine.
Oh.
Like, oh, when I drop the kids off in the morning, I turn on the podcast because I know it's gonna be up. Or some people say, oh, I play it in the background while I'm getting ready for work and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's part of it. They know every morning at 6 a.m. it'll be up on YouTube or on
Mm-hmm.
Apple Podcasts or wherever they listen. So it's like you just gotta be okay with the success is not gonna come overnight. Like
Yeah.
I was a freshman in college covering swimming and diving.
Mm-hmm.
Think I want to be covering swimming and diving my whole life? No, but
Mm-hmm.
like I gotta,
Yeah.
I was going to tennis matches and I just like trying to embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was going to golf stuff. I had to do all of that, and then came softball, then came baseball, then came Tennessee basketball. And it's like, oh, okay, now I'm in the big leagues. And then came Tennessee football, and then came all the other stuff. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like you got to be uncomfortable. I mean, you got to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, because that's just how it goes. Like it's hard to grind just to the top quick. This isn't some just quick rise of business. So my main message is really, if you got a passion,
Mm-hmm.
turn it into your profession by being consistent with it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I got friends that like to cook. I got friends, that like to do nails, lashes, all these things. Whatever it is you're doing, like, you got to be consistent with your core audience, because if you got 3 clients that are coming to you for makeup or nails or whatever, well, guess what? You stay consistent with those 3 clients, because one day somebody's gonna say, "Ooh, I like your nails. Who do your nails?" And
Mm-hmm.
you tell them, and then that person is gonna come, and then they're gonna say, "Ooh, I like your nails. Who do your nails?" And you just got to be consistent. You got to be available. So that's
Yeah.
that's just so important to me.
Consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So, any like final words about people figuring out or asking
Yeah,
themselves, "What am I even doing?"
yeah. I know it's a lot. What am I even doing? Like, I think just always just try to come up with a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes I just lay in the bed and I'll just write stuff down. Writing is good for me. I know
Mm-hmm.
some people are more visual, but sometimes I just write things down, and it doesn't even have to be work related. It just could be like what I'm planning on doing the next day, and I structure it and I schedule it,
Mm-hmm.
and stay according to that plan. Is the process is never easy, like it's not short. It's just like it's really gonna test your discipline,
Mm-hmm.
because I think we're in a time now where people want instant results. People want the gratification that comes on the back end
Mm-hmm.
after you put years in. Like every successful person that we see, for the most part, like at some point they had to start.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mark Zuckerberg, like if you've seen the movie, about him, or Jeff Bezos,
Mm-hmm.
like these people started off working in college dorms and
Yeah.
garages, and they some of the biggest billionaires in the world now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like you just gotta, if you're passionate about something, like pursue it. That's my thing. I don't care what it is. If it's something that nobody else believes in, like you got to pursue it, because nobody believed when Jeff Bezos was saying, he wants to deliver these things and all that, or Fred Smith with FedEx and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to pursue it. So that's my whole thing. Like, people were telling me, like, oh, sports journalism, like media is kind of dying out a little
Yeah,
bit, you know,
you
like
hear that
social
all
media.
the time.
You hear it too, right? So it's like, it's some truth to it, right? You know it's real,
Yeah.
but it's like, that's what I'm passionate about. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not passionate about a lot of other things that I want to go into. So it's like, I'm going to pursue it, and I'm going to believe that I could be one of those few people in the room, even though the room is getting smaller. But I feel like I can be one of those if I really passionately pursue it. You just got to stay committed to it. So yeah, that's my thing.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you a motivational speaker?
No, I just for real. I just like it's something I'm passionate about.
No, that
like
was really good.
I'm really passionate just about just the journey and staying the course.
Yeah.
Like, because it's hard. Because it's so easy to, oh, I'm not really making no money for real right now, or oh, this ain't what I really want to be doing. I want to cover basketball. They got me doing tennis, or whatever the case may be. It's like those opportunities will come, because I remember sitting there talking to tennis coaches I never heard of, but I had to do that for 2 years, freshman year, sophomore year, and then eventually, boom, now I'm covering Tennessee football, Tennessee basketball. That's what everybody want to do. And then, like, when I went to Philly, like, I'm covering the small colleges there. Then all of a sudden, bam, I'm at an Eagles game. Bam, I'm at a Philadelphia 76ers NBA game. So it's like, you really gotta grind for real.
Yeah. That's good. You encourage me, because where I'm at right now, I just need to like stay a course.
That's it.
Feel as though everything is aligned and happening for a reason.
It just take one. Yeah. Like, that's all. It's just, I got one email, and that's all. It just take one person. Like, you don't need the whole city, the whole state. You know, like, yeah, she the best ever. Like, you need one person to be like, okay, and just run with it at that point.
That's good. Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it.
You dropped some gems.
I did.
Yeah,
Okay. Drop a little gems. Okay.